All right, welcome in, beautiful people, to the Daily Fix. We do this every single day at 12 Central Time. Daily Fix with Ron Hughley, presented by Foolish Club Media. That is in the little box. Steve Serta in the place he should be, right there. And as I said, Daily Fix sponsored. Why are you shaking your head?
In the place he should be, right
That's
there.
right, baby. Place he should be. There it is. And people expect to see you in that box. All right. I've had people say they think it, as I told you, it should be smaller. I think it's just right. But first thing I need you to do, one, appreciate you if you're taking us in on Twitter, also as well on YouTube. But what I need you to do, as we do every day, the fastest slowing, growing digital show out there in the world, is to go to YouTube, Foolish Club Media, like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. You can do that for us. That would be great. And remember, if you refuse to do that, if you refuse to like and subscribe, you're preventing my children from eating. So, not going to hold you long. A few things to get to. LeBron James, my favorite all-time athlete, seems to be in a conundrum. We'll discuss that coming up in a bit. And this to me is fascinating about a great player for the Chiefs last year, and it could mean something for a great player for the Chiefs in the future. But before we get there, Steve, how did Skyy Moore pull this off? How did Skyy Moore pull this off? I mean, this is one of the most amazing things I believe potentially to happen in American history. I mean, this has to be right up there with the invention of electricity, the Henry Ford, the invention of the vehicle, of the car, like Donald Trump winning the presidency, Barack Obama winning the presidency. Like, this has to rate right up there with some of the most amazing things. I thought here recently, one of the most amazing things I've been able to see is to see that Chris Brown has been able to return after he beat the brakes off of Rihanna, and that the big portion of his fan base are women. That's how he has returned, even though he did that to Rihanna. But this here, Steve, this takes the cake. Skyy Moore made with all things against him, Steve. He made this roster. And Steve, he didn't record an offensive statistic in the preseason. Like, he didn't record a catch for a yard. He didn't get a rush for a yard. He had a couple of kickoff returns. He did not record a statistic offensively for the Kansas City Chiefs in 3 preseason games of which he dressed out. And he made the team. And that's coming off of last year struggling like hell and looking like he should be on the team, and then coming up with some mythical injury that prevented him from playing in the postseason. He didn't get a catch, Steve, and he made this roster. This is one of the most amazing things. There are defensive backs who have been waiting for that number to come loose, and they can't get it because Skyy Moore has somehow made this roster. I mean, it doesn't make any sense football-wise to me, Steve, why he is on this roster, but he has somehow pulled this off with Andy. It's one of the most amazing things I've ever seen, Steve.
There's something going on behind the scenes that makes them just absolutely love Skyy Moore, despite the fact that none of us have seen anything that would justify him continuing to have a roster spot. Maybe it's just that he was a second-round pick 2 years ago and they're not ready to give up on him. But he has been one of the worst draft picks of the Chiefs draft classes that have been stellar the last few years.
I mean, listen, I don't know what it is. It doesn't make sense. He must have some of the best film sessions that anyone has ever had in the history of football, because there's nothing in practice. Like, you can't think. Listen, I just outlined it. He did not make a single play in preseason. except for a kickoff return. He did not make a single play. I mean, he didn't have there's no way, Steve, I could have told you Skyy Moore was going to play 3 preseason games and not record an offensive stat, and he would make the team easy.
It wasn't even a question.
No.
In the third preseason game, they had him go out for 1 return for whatever reason, I guess, to just get one more look at him there, even though we know for a fact he is not going to be their return.
Steve, everybody caught a ball. Everybody caught a ball but Skyy Moore. 17 guys caught a ball in the preseason except for Skyy Moore. It's the most amazing thing ever. No way you could have said that guy won't catch a pass or even get a reverse or anything, and he'll make the team. But he somehow pulled it off.
I feel like even Justin Ross, who we knew probably wasn't going to make the team, but he brings something to the table in the size and jump ball ability that Skyy doesn't even have, because Skyy doesn't get separation. He doesn't get open either.
I don't even know if he does. I don't know what they saw. There was nothing in practice, but Skyy Moore, salute to you, man. Right up there with Henry Ford. You are the man. All right. I was looking at this and seeing what L'Jarius Sneed had to say, and a guy that it was hard for me to see go because he was something else last year. Even though all the statistics, he's the opposite of Skyy Moore, even though all of the statistics showed that he was the best corner, with the exception of maybe penalties, but he was the best corner in all of football, but nobody gave him any ounce of credit for being the best corner in all of football. I don't believe he made the Pro Bowl or any All-Pro teams, even though he was clearly, by the numbers and who he faced, the best corner in football.
He didn't even make the NFL top 100.
No, he didn't. No. Pete Prisco had him in his, but he did not make the NFL top 100. And this is not just homerism. I mean, it was just there. But he said this as he is a new member of the Tennessee Titans. He said, I was upset. Kansas City. That's like my first love. They showed me how to be a champion, gave me 2 rings. I was angry because I wanted to stay. And clearly, Steve, they felt like if they had to choose, that they had to go other places. Obviously, they just paid Creed Humphrey big money. They set the market with Creed. They set the market with Chris Jones. They've paid that money. And I just wonder, they clearly did not value the cornerback, which I would argue, I've done my top 5 position groups, and I think it's fluctuated and changed over the years. I think corner's number 2 because I think it's harder to find a shutdown corner these days. But they chose all those other spots, and Steve, it makes me wonder, will they do the same thing with Trent McDuffie? If Trent McDuffie continues on to the pattern that he's in, is Trent McDuffie going to be expendable? Will they pay a corner? I'm curious because they value center, to reset the market in a major way. Obviously, they value Chris Jones, and I agree with that. But it makes me wonder, is Trent McDuffie, will he get the L'Jarius Sneed treatment, or will they view him differently?
I do think it's a slightly different situation where, well, one, we still have to make sure that he can be that true lockdown outside guy. But I do believe that Trent McDuffie has that talent and skill level to pull that off. But also, I do think there was a decision made with L'Jarius Sneed and this nagging knee issue that he had over the last several years that I feel like a lot of people weren't fully aware of outside of people who were super locked into the Chiefs and their practice reports, because L'Jarius Sneed didn't practice a ton. He missed a lot of practice with that knee issue that's flared up over the last couple of years. And there's already people that cover the Titans that are like, they traded for this cornerback and he never even practices. And I think that was a red flag for the Chiefs to pay him long term. I don't think that they view McDuffie that way. And I do think that McDuffie is a cornerstone player. And Sneed, it was like, can that knee really hold up for 2-3 more years? I just don't think the Chiefs were confident in that.
So maybe it was a knee thing. Maybe it was, I just hope it's not a position thing. It'll be interesting to watch if they value corner. Because we talked about it before. Spags, before this past year, it didn't seem like the priority to having great corners was a priority because Spags never really had it until this year. That would be something, though, Steve, to me, if you draft and develop a guy like Sneed and draft to develop a guy like McDuffie, and they become Pro Bowl, all-pro level players, and you don't sign either one of them, that would be interesting, especially in a position that important. All right. Finally, my favorite all-time athlete, LeBron James, is in a bit of a conundrum with his son, who has joined the Lakers. And before you know it, here in a couple of months, they're going to have to start doing training camp. This was LeBron talking about his expectations with Bronny when they play together.
But through, not relationship, because you always be his dad, he'll always be his son, but what's your working relationship? Is he going to call you dad at practice in the locker room?
No, we already laid that. No, he can't. We already laid that down. He cannot call me dad in the workplace. All right. Once we leave out of the private facility and the gates close, I can be dad again in the car if we ride together.
Okay. I don't know, man. I see, like, if I'm Bronny, man, I don't know if I'm taking that chance on that. See, that sounds all good to LeBron right there. But like him running down that court and him just repeatedly, hey, LeBron. LeBron. Like, I call my mom Teresa when she's not around. But like, I don't like at some point, like, nah, man, because 2-3, that's weird. Like, hey, 2-3. No. Hey, like, to me, Pops would be fine. Like, I don't know why Pops, like, because at some point he gonna get, like, I'm just saying, at some point, sort of, they what if they get into it? He get mad, and now all of a sudden we on the sideline, and Bronny, which he's gonna do, blows a coverage or messes something up, and LeBron, who is going to confront him about it, and he says, "No, LeBron, you should have. No, that ain't gonna work."
I mean, let's say that Bronny James actually gets any like regular season NBA game time with his father.
Oh,
you imagine?
First off, Steve, that's happening. Like, LeBron didn't make this happen for him not to be on the floor with him at the same time. I'll be damned. That is happening.
Can you imagine what professional NBA players would do to that poor kid if they hear him go, Dad, I'm open on an NBA court?
Yeah, nah, man. Hey. That dude, he got to worry about that dude right there. You want to make sure he's good. You want to make sure you're not disrespecting him. I know, like, you know, your parents have tricked you before to say, "Oh, no, it's cool," until that thing don't feel right. Like, I've said that to my kids. No, I want you to talk back. Like, I want you to, express yourself to me, and until it get a little too aggressive. Like, hey, man, watch your tone now. Like, and I feel like he gonna be.
I could already envision it. Like, there's gonna be guys that get LeBron James so worked up when his son is on the court with him that there's gonna be some issues on the court, because that's how the NBA is. Like, those guys don't hold back when they're competing on the floor.
I would say Pops, like, hey, something. Hey, he said GOAT. I'm not calling you GOAT, Dad. I'm not giving you that, but I may call you Pops. Hi, Mom, Teresa, Courtney.